ready for this?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this fucking thing. Oh my god.
Well, welcome to another edition to Let's See How Many Times Derek Can Make a Project. Today, I'm making a trophy for a friend of mine, Anthony. It's going to a local country club, and it's to present a cup to the winner of a golf thing. Well, first off, I started on the CNC, cutting out a couple pieces and just checking them to see how they fit onto the stein that was given to me by the customer. He also gave me this horse that was a piece of crap, and I knew it wasn't going to work the way it was, so I cut it off the base, and I took a closer look at it. After looking at it, it just was a disaster. It had little cracks in it. I needed to fill them. I used a little bit of Starbond Adhesive to fill the cracks, and then I sprayed it when it looked much better after. I moved on to the base, cut it out of MDF, had to seal it all first, give it a good sanding, and the customer specified that he wanted black lacquer. So here's me spraying black lacquer. Never used this stuff before, and I was going to find out that it wasn't as easy as it looked. So after you paint it, you need to sand it, then you paint it again. That's pretty much the way this works. It's paint, sand, paint, rinse, and repeat. This piece of metal was for the horse. This was going to get mounted. I was going to have this light up as well, and this was going to be the battery cover. Just squaring this up, I used my Ameribraid grinder just to square off the ends. It has Pferd abrasives on it. I tell you, those Pferd abrasives, they work great. Thank you, Pferd, for hooking me up with the abrasives that I used in this project. I couldn't have done it without you. They supplied the abrasives on the 2x72 as well as all the sandpaper I used in the project to wet sand this. This was sanded up to 1,000, then 12,000 grit. That's what I'm doing here, just wet sanding. Just painting, sanding, painting, sanding. That's pretty much what it was, unless I was doing the lighting. Here I'm adding some lights to it. And in the dark, they look pretty good. They're not that bright, but you know what? It is what it is. So at this point, I realized, though, it wasn't going to fit in this compartment. And the paint job had a lot of blemishes from me handling it, and I decided I needed to do it over. Yep, started over again. So back to the drawing board, got on Vectric, redid this, made things a little bit bigger, and just started over. How original. So here I'm just cutting the pieces on the CNC. I got to make sure they all fit. This thing, everything needed to line up perfectly for these acrylic rods, and I made some room for the wires in this one, which I didn't have before. And I made the base on this one a little bit thicker. It's 1 inch thick. The other one was 3/4. That way I could fit the lights and the wiring in this. I'm gluing up another piece of a 1/4 inch MDF on this, and after I had this clamped up, I took a flush trimming bit and I evened it all up. And if you follow me on Instagram, this is when I had cut one of my fingertips off. It got stuck inside the router right about here when I was smoothing these edges off, and I tell you, I got lucky. It could have been a lot worse, so be careful using those small routers, wrapping your hand around it. This one I sealed with water and glue. A lot of people said on Instagram you get better results with it, and you know what? They were right. I got better results sealing the MDF with this than I did with the original sealer. I also added all the name badges onto it, and this way I didn't have to handle it as much after it was painted. That was the problem with the first one. I just was handling it too much, sanding it too much, and things kind of got away on me. But this thing just kept having issues like this. Brand new paint can, and go to paint it, and this happens. Yeah, it just, I said, maybe I had my finger over the hole. Nope, bad can. So, got a new can, got back on it, all set, right? Wrong. A bug decided to fly into it when I was done. And it was like, this is the way this thing just kept going. It just, it was one issue after another, you know, and some of them were self-induced, some weren't, but at the end of the day, I got through it. So here I am just applying some paint. You can see the electronics are in it at this point, where the other one, I was putting them in after, and so it was just so much easier to do it this way. And once I had it all painted up, of course, a little bit more sanding. So as I was sanding this one, I realized I had an issue with it. I had a couple blemishes showing through, and they just keep showing through. And if you don't deal with these at the beginning, they're gonna show their ugly head. It's not like paint. You cannot hide blemishes with lacquer. The way it looks raw is the way it's gonna look painted. So I had to deal with this. I thought I was gonna be able to beat it, but it just kept showing through. I tried adding some lacquer to it, some clear, and I thought I had it here, but as you're gonna see in the next few scenes, it just keeps coming back and will not stop. I'm just trying to sand those things away, but you can see in the reflection, it just keeps showing. So I finally realized this isn't working, and I know that I need to do something else. I tried buffing it one last time and see if that helped, but all I got was a shiny blemish. So I wanted to cut my losses and said, you know what, let me mask this off, see if I can just sand the blemish off and then redo that. And you know what? You can't, because you're just going to see the different coats. All the polish in the world isn't going to save you. You see all the different layers there. So I just had to start it over again. So here I am, just sanding all the lacquer off, get it down to bare wood, and just start fresh again. And that's one thing I learned, just to start over and don't try to hide it. So here I am. This is about 800 grit with those Pferd abrasives. I tell you, those were just really instrumental. I couldn't have done it without those high grits. Wet sanding, wearing gloves, so my fingerprints aren't going to show on this thing. So then I get it up to a high polish after I'm done wet sanding. And I want to kind of just get it nice and pretty before I assemble it, because once this thing is assembled, I want to be done with it. Putting the nameplates on. Everything was already marked out. I just had to put these things in. I use Thixo epoxy on this to hold everything together. That stuff works great. That's my new go-to adhesive. You can reuse those tips, and it's just really, really good stuff. Putting the batteries in here, putting the feet on it. This thing's really coming together. I'm on the home stretch with it, just really excited. And here I'm just trying to be careful with everything. Add a little bit more of that Thixo to this top piece. Finally take my horse off the base. It's all painted up nice and pretty. Cleaning up the little pockets there so I can get a nice bond. Man, if I scratched it at this point, I was screwed. A little bit more wax, a little bit more polish. Just had to add the last couple nameplates to this thing, and it was done. So this thing was called, or is called, the Vectric Cup. It's for a local country club. It's a private club, and a group of guys get together every year, and they get awarded this cup to drink a Bud Light out of. That's the winnings. I guess that's what rich people do. Just putting those rods on. This Thixo will hold anything to anything. It's really, really good stuff. Putting the top on here, just being real careful not to get any glue on anything, not to touch anything. So now I wanted to add a little cork piece to the top. I didn't like the way the cork looked, so I wrapped it in green. I really liked the way the green made it look. It really popped. Just a little PVA glue, so if anything squeezes out, we don't see any glue. Gluing everything up. And then boom, we're done. That's it. That's as pretty as this thing's gonna get. Put the cup on it to hold it. The guy said, "Can you make me something to hold this?" So I made him this. Anybody want a dog? What do you think?
Oh, that is unbelievable. Is that fucking unbelievable or what? This is... They are not gonna believe it. Oh my God. They are gonna fucking die when they see this. Fucking gorgeous. It's better than I could have ever imagined.
Thank you.